They used the word independent like it was a compliment. My mother said it first, at the kitchen table, with papers spread out between us. Tax forms. Aid letters. A calculator pushed to one side. "You're capable," she said. "You'll figure it out." My father nodded. "We don't want you relying on us." They slid the tuition statement back toward me, unsigned. Across the table, my sister Hannah sat scrolling on her phone. She didn't look up. My mother turned the calculator toward her instead. "Her deposit cleared this morning," she said. "Dorm, meal plan, everything." Hannah smiled. "Good." No one asked if I needed help. No one lowered their voice. My father tapped the aid letter. "You qualify as independent," he said. "Financially. On record." On record mattered. Forms were already filled out. I picked up the statement and folded it once. Clean. Careful. My mother watched me do it. She waited for a reaction. "You always wanted to do things on your own," she said. Hannah stood up and grabbed her jacket. "Can you drive me later?" she asked them. My father reached for his keys immediately. I stood too. The chair scraped louder than it should have. Everyone noticed. No one stopped me. At the door, my mother added, "This doesn't mean you're not family." She didn't follow me. By that evening, my status had changed in the system. Independent, no appeal attached. And the semester clock had already started ticking without me. The letter arrived 3 days later. Not from my parents. From the university. Subject line, "Status confirmed." I opened it standing in the hallway. Shoes still on. "Independent student," it said. "Verified by family declaration." No mention of money. Just classification. I forwarded it to the address my father used for paperwork. No message attached. He replied an hour later. "Good. That's settled." That weekend, Hannah's boxes filled the living room. New sheets. Mini fridge. A laptop, still sealed. My mother checked items off a list. "Tuition next," she said. Then the fees. My father asked Hannah which parking permit she wanted. No one asked where I was going to stay. I packed at night. Quiet. A duffel bag. 2 folders. My passport. At breakfast, my mother noticed the bag by the door. "You don't have to rush," she said. "I'm not," I said. Hannah laughed. "She'll be fine. She always lands somewhere." My father sipped his coffee. Didn't look up. "Remember," he said, "this was your choice too." I nodded. When I stepped outside, my phone vibrated. A notification from the aid portal. Payment deadline, 14 days. No extension available. I didn't go back inside. Behind me, Hannah's ride arrived. A car paid for in advance. The front door closed, and whatever support I might have asked for was already marked resolved in their records. I left before the deadline expired. Not dramatically, just early. I withdrew from the semester online. 3 clicks. A confirmation screen. Status updated. Independent students didn't qualify for emergency holds. The policy was clear. I printed the withdrawal notice at a copy shop. The clerk didn't look at me. I signed where it told me to sign. Dated it, uploaded it. At 11:47 a.m., the system accepted it. My phone buzzed once. An automated message. Enrollment cancel. Age released. Slot reassigned. That part mattered. I emailed my parents the confirmation. Subject line only. Handled. No response. By afternoon, Hannah posted a photo from campus. Orientation badge. Smiling. My mother commented first. "So proud." I took a bus across town. Paid cash. The landlord didn't ask questions. He asked for first month up front. I handed him the envelope I'd been saving for books. He counted it twice. "Keys tomorrow," he said. That night, the university portal locked me out. Access revoked. Email disabled. Independent meant removed. At midnight, the semester officially began. Classes filled. Accounts finalized. Appeals closed. I lay on a mattress without sheets, staring at the ceiling fan. Outside, sirens passed. Then silence. By morning, my name no longer appeared anywhere connected to that school. And whatever path had been closed by their decision was now closed by policy, with no record of protest left behind. 10 years passed without an announcement. Time showed up in fragments. Address changes. Expired IDs. New ones issued. My parents sent one card the first year. No return address. Just names. I didn't answer. Hannah graduated on schedule. My mother posted the photos. Cap, gown, smiles. My father stood beside her, hand on her shoulder. I was not cropped out. I wasn't there. The system kept moving. Licenses renewed. Records updated. Employment verified. Whenever a form asked about family support, I checked no. It saved time. By year 5, no one asked anymore. I changed departments twice. Changed jobs once. Kept the same phone number. No calls came through. In year 8, a message arrived from an unfamiliar address. Wedding announcement. Hannah's name. A date. A venue. Black tie. Formal seating. There was no note. No invitation card. 2 weeks later, another message followed. Please confirm attendance for planning purposes. No greeting. No signature. I didn't respond. 3 days before the deadline, a seating chart attachment arrived by mistake. My name was on it. Not at the family table. Not near the front. Last row. End seat. The chart was recalled 5 minutes later. Another email followed. Sorry. That was sent in error. On the wedding website, the registry link worked. Everything else was locked. The event was proceeding smoothly. And for the first time in a decade, their system had placed me back inside it, without asking whether I still belonged there. I arrived 10 minutes after the ceremony started. On purpose. The usher checked my name against a tablet. Scrolled, paused. Last row, he said. I nodded and kept walking. The hall was full. White flowers. Soft music. Phones lifted but not toward me. My parents were already seated. Front row. Focused forward. They didn't turn when I passed. Hannah stood at the altar. Veil set perfectly. Smiling like nothing had ever been uneven. When the vows ended, people stood. Applause moved in waves. I stayed seated until the room cleared. At the reception, place cards were arranged alphabetically. Mine was at the edge of the table, facing the wall. My mother noticed me then. She leaned toward my father, whispered. He looked back, confused first, then annoyed. My mother stood and walked over. You weren't on the list, she said. Low voice. Controlled. I know, I said. Her eyes moved to the card, then back to me. Why are you here? She asked. People nearby slowed their conversations. Not enough to stare. Enough to listen. Before I could answer, Hannah's fiancé Daniel turned. He had gone still, hand halfway to his glass. He looked at me longer than was polite. Then he looked at my parents. His face lost color. Stop, he said. The band paused mid-song. Daniel stood. This person, he said, pointing once, not accusing, is the reason I'm even allowed to be standing here. And suddenly, the wedding wasn't moving forward anymore. The room stayed standing. The officiant froze with his hands still folded. The planner stepped forward, then stopped. Daniel looked past everyone and spoke to the coordinator. Can you pull the file? He asked. She hesitated. Which one? The eligibility packet, he said. The one from 10 years ago. My father stood halfway. This isn't the time. Daniel didn't look at him. The coordinator opened her tablet. Scrolled again. Her brow tightened. She's not listed as family, she said, confused. She's listed as, she stopped. Daniel finished it for her. Approving authority. The word carried. People shifted. Chairs scraped. The coordinator turned the screen slightly toward him. A name. My name. Date stamped below it. 10 years old. Still active. My mother shook her head. That can't be right. Daniel finally looked at me. You reviewed my file, he said. You signed off when I didn't meet the standard yet. I didn't answer. He swallowed. Without that approval, I wouldn't have qualified. Not for the license. Not for this venue. The officiant cleared his throat. We should pause. The planner nodded quickly. My father's voice rose. This is a misunderstanding. Daniel turned to him. No, he said. This is the reason everything I have started. He looked back at the coordinator. Check the dependency, he said. She did. Her face changed. Her approval is foundational, she said. If it's withdrawn or challenged, she stopped herself. The room waited. And the wedding was suddenly resting on a decision I had made long before anyone here wanted to remember me. No one sat back down. The coordinator lowered the tablet, didn't lock the screen. We need guidance, she said. Protocol, not preference. Daniel nodded. Call the board. My mother stepped closer to him, lowered her voice. This is family. Daniel didn't answer her. The coordinator moved to the side of the room and made the call. Quiet. Precise. People pretended not to watch. My father pulled me aside by 2 fingers at the elbow. Not hard. Not gentle. You didn't say anything, he said. Accusatory. I wasn't asked, I said. He released me. The officiant checked his watch. Then the exit. Hannah stood still at the altar. Smile locked. Eyes not blinking. A notification chimed from the coordinator's tablet. She read it once. Then again. Daniel stepped toward her. She turned the screen. His shoulders dropped slightly. Not relief. Recognition. He looked back at my parents. They're reviewing the original approval, he said. Not today. The whole record. My mother laughed once. Too loud. You can't reopen that, she said. It was 10 years ago. The coordinator shook her head. It never closed, she said. Daniel exhaled through his nose. If they flag it, he said, the license goes inactive. So does the registration for this ceremony. Someone in the back stood, then sat again. Hannah finally spoke. You knew, she said to my parents. Not to me. The band stayed silent, and the wedding timeline on the planner's clipboard was no longer moving forward at all. The coordinator stepped aside again. This time she didn't lower her voice. I need the original conditions, she said into the phone. Yes. All attachments. Daniel stood next to her. Didn't touch her. Didn't interrupt. My parents stayed where they were. Too visible to move. Too quiet to defend themselves. Hannah's maid of honor whispered something. Hannah shook her head once. Oh. Controlled. The officiant closed his book. We're on hold, he announced. Please remain seated. No one obeyed. People stood in clusters. Phones stayed down. Everyone was listening. The coordinator's tablet chimed again. She read, then turned toward Daniel. They confirmed it, she said. The approval predates the current rule set. It overrides the later requirements. My father stepped forward. So it's valid, he said quickly. The coordinator didn't answer him. She kept reading. It's valid, she said, because it was never amended, and it can only be amended by the original authority. She looked at me then. Just once. Daniel followed her gaze. If you won't speak, he said carefully, they'll escalate it automatically. I stayed where I was. The coordinator checked the time. Escalation window is 20 minutes. My mother reached for Hannah's arm. Hannah pulled away. Outside the hall, a door opened and closed. Footsteps. Voices. The system was no longer waiting for permission. And the wedding clock was counting down against a decision no one here could make for me. The message came through without sound. The coordinator read it and stopped moving. This confirms it, she said. The approval from 10 years ago is the foundation. She scrolled once more. Slow. It's the reason Mr. Keller holds his current standing, she continued. And the reason this ceremony was approved. My mother shook her head. That's impossible. The coordinator didn't look at her. It's procedural, she said. No discretion involved. Daniel closed his eyes briefly, then opened them. So if that approval didn't exist, he said, I wouldn't be eligible. Yes, the coordinator said, and this wedding would not be validly registered. The word registered carried farther than expected. People near the back started whispering. Not questions. Calculations. My father stepped forward again. You're saying her decision, he said, pointing at me, is the reason this is happening at all? The coordinator nodded. It was recorded, she said. It was never reversed. Every step since relies on it. Hannah sat down hard in her chair. The officiant closed his book completely. Daniel turned toward me. didn't ask anything. He looked at my parents instead. You called her independent, he said. You said she was on her own. He gestured toward the coordinator. But the system never treated her that way. The coordinator tapped the screen. This event, she said, exists because of her. And suddenly the wedding wasn't paused. It was conditionally valid, held in place by a decision made by the one person they had stopped counting 10 years ago. The coordinator closed the tablet. We can't proceed as scheduled, she said. Not without confirmation from the original authority. Daniel nodded once. Accepted it. My mother stood too quickly. This is absurd, she said. She isn't involved anymore. The coordinator looked at her. Records don't expire on assumptions. The officiant stepped back from the altar. We'll suspend, he said, until clearance is restored. Hannah didn't cry. She stared at the floor like something had shifted under it. Daniel walked over to me. Not close. Respectful distance. They'll contact you, he said. Formally. I nodded. My father said my name once. Careful. Testing it. I didn't turn. The planner began directing guests toward the exit. Soft voices. Controlled damage. My mother's phone buzzed. She checked it and went pale. They're canceling the registration window, she said. The coordinator confirmed with a nod. Automatic. Chairs scraped. People stood. No applause. Hannah removed her veil and placed it on the table. Didn't fold it. Daniel watched her, then looked back at my parents. You taught her to expect support, he said. You taught her this would always work. He didn't say anything else. I left before the room finished clearing. Outside, the venue doors closed behind me. My phone buzzed once. An unfamiliar number. Subject. Review request initiated. 10 years ago, they had marked me independent. Today, the system marked me required. And the wedding they had built without me could not continue until I decided what that meant.